All right, get ready to dive deep, because today we're going all the way back to ancient China,
Ancient China,
specifically during the reign of Qin Shi Huang.
the first emperor of a unified China.
That's right, we're talking about the big guy himself, and we're going on a journey with him.
Ooh, a journey.
Yeah, to the eastern coast in 219 BC.
Sounds fun.
You might be thinking, oh, a nice little beach vacation for the emperor.
Yeah, a little R&R.
But no. This was no ordinary trip.
Oh.
This journey was a meticulously planned move
Hi.
by Qin Shi Huang to solidify his rule after conquering the former state of Qi.
I see. A strategic move.
It's fascinating how he blended politics with ancient traditions and beliefs. I mean, imagine him fresh from that grand ceremony on Mount Tai,
Yeah.
heading east, performing rituals at significant mountains and rivers.
So he's like,
It's like he was physically and spiritually claiming these places.
for his new empire.
Exactly. He was tapping into existing power structures and beliefs, aligning himself with the concept of the eight gods.
8 gods?
These deities were central to ancient Chinese belief, and their places of worship were scattered across Qi
Qi.
by paying homage to them. Qin Shi Huang wasn't just acknowledging their power, he was symbolically taking control of it.
Wow, very clever.
So he was strategically hitting all the major power points. But then picture this. He reaches the coast, probably seeing the vastness of the Bohai Sea for the first time.
Oh, wow.
I can only imagine what that must have been like.
Yeah, that must have been.
It's hard to overstate the awe that the sea must have inspired.
Yeah.
And this encounter really highlights the geographical understanding of the time. We have records of a scholar from Qi named Zhu Yan,
Zulian?
who proposed a theory of greater 9 continents.
Made her 9 continents.
Okay, greater 9 continents. Now, that's something I need you to break down for me. What does that even mean?
Essentially, Zulian was saying that the world as they knew it was just one of 9 continents, all surrounded by smaller seas. And get this, he even suggested that this whole group of continents might itself be just one of 9 similar groupings.
Hold on, so.
That means the Red County Divine Land,
Which is?
which is what they call China, was just a tiny piece of an enormous puzzle.
That's incredible. Imagine trying to wrap your head around the idea of 9 continents when you've never even seen the ocean.
Right.
It really shows you how advanced their geographical thinking was for the time, but also the ambition and curiosity. That drove the Qin Dynasty to explore and expand.
Absolutely. And it's interesting to note that the term divine land,
Shenzhou.
which is still used to refer to China today, actually comes from Zhu Yang's writings.
So while Zhu Yan was envisioning a vast world beyond their immediate knowledge, the inscription Qin Shi Huang left behind also reflects the Qin Dynasty's understanding of their own territory. They had this concept of the 4 seas,
4 seas.
which the text describes as being 28,000 lees east to west and 26,000 lees north to south.
So in this context, the 4 seas likely refers to the known territory of the Qin Dynasty at that time.
And just for reference,
A lei is roughly equivalent to half a kilometer in modern terms.
so they thought that was the whole world. Little did they know.
Little did they know.
But this idea of scale is also evident in Zhu Yan's description of the world, claiming it to be 509,007,000 lies east to west and the same north to south.
Wow, that's huge.
Basically, he imagined the entire landmass as a giant square.
Exactly. It really goes to show that they were thinking about the world on a colossal scale.
And speaking of Qin Shi Huang's ambition, his inscription at Langya provides further insight into his vision of a unified empire. This is where his journey gets really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
He leaves this inscription on a stone monument, and it's full of powerful statements that give us a glimpse into his mindset.
So it's like a window into
It's like a window into his thinking.
fascinating.
This Langya inscription is a powerful record of Qin Shi Huang's achievements, ideology, and his worldview, all carved in stone for posterity.
Wow, that's impressive.
One phrase that stands out is, west reaching the shifting sands, south reaching the northern doors.
The northern doors.
It's fascinating how west reaching the shifting sands reflects the idea that even the uninhabited deserts were considered part of the empire.
I see.
His vision wasn't limited by actual control or population. It extended to the very edges of the known world. And then there's south reaching the northern doors. This one has puzzled scholars for centuries.
Oh, okay.
But the most likely interpretation comes from later texts, like the Book of Han and the commentary on the Water Classic.
Oh.
These texts link northern doors to Renan, an administrative region in what is now central Vietnam.
Vietnam.
So northern doors could be a specific location.
That's the leading theory. According to the commentary on the Water Classic, the term seems to be based on astronomical observations, specifically using sundials and the position of the North Star.
They were using the stars and the sun to define the boundaries of their world. That's mind-blowing.
It is pretty amazing.
But I'm a little confused, because the Book of Han suggests that northern doors was a place where houses face north to catch sunlight. Wouldn't it make more sense for houses south of China to face south for optimal sunlight?
You're exactly right. It seems that while the inscription boasts about south reaching the northern doors, this was likely more aspirational than factual.
I see.
At the time of this inscription, Qin Shi Huang's control over southern regions was still expanding. It wasn't until 5 years later that his forces established commanderies in the Lingnan region, which includes parts of modern-day Guangdong, Guangxi, and Vietnam.
So it seems like this phrase, south reaching the northern doors, might be a combination of geographical understanding, astronomical observation, and a bit of imperial swagger.
A bit of swagger.
But let's not forget the other intriguing phrase from the inscription, north passing Great Xia. What are your thoughts on that one?
Unfortunately, the precise meaning of that phrase is still up for debate.
Oh.
Scholars have offered various interpretations, but nothing conclusive. Perhaps Great Xia refers to a legendary kingdom, or a far-off land known to them through travelers' tales or ancient myths.
So even in this inscription meant to assert the emperor's power and knowledge, there are still hints of the unknown. A sense of wonder and mystery about the world beyond their grasp.
Right.
It's like their understanding of the world was constantly expanding, both literally and figuratively.
I like that.
Which makes this journey east a pivotal moment in that expansion.
A pivotal moment.
It really is quite a story.
It is.
And we're just getting started.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the reign of Qin Shi Huang. We've been following his journey east, a journey that wasn't just about consolidating power or exploring the edges of the known world. It also reveals something quite fascinating about Qin Shi Huang himself, his deep yearning for immortality.
Okay, now we're talking. This is where things get really juicy. We're about to step into a world of magic, alchemy, and the emperor's relentless quest to conquer death itself.
You got it. This pursuit led him back to the eastern coast, specifically to the Shandong Peninsula. It was here that he launched a series of expeditions to find the legendary elixir of immortality.
So he conquered all this physical territory, and now he's setting his sights on something even bigger. Conquering death. What was he thinking? Was he picturing himself brewing potions in a cauldron, chanting spells under a full moon?
Well, historical records mention a variety of approaches. Some involve concocting elixirs from rare herbs and minerals. Many of these elixers incorporated mercury, which ironically is incredibly toxic.
Oh, wow. Talk about a risky gamble. It seems like a recipe for disaster rather than eternal life.
You're not wrong, but we have to remember that this is a time when alchemy and magic were deeply intertwined. With medicine and science, people genuinely believed that these practices could unlock the secrets of life and death.
So Qin Shi Huang, this ruthless conqueror, was also a true believer in the mystical arts. It's like we're seeing a whole new side of him.
Absolutely. And this wasn't just a personal obsession for him. It was also tied to his vision of imperial power.
I'm curious. How so?
Well, in Chinese thought, the emperor was considered the son of heaven, divinely appointed to rule. If he could achieve immortality, it wouldn't just solidify his own power, it would guarantee the stability and continuity of the dynasty.
I see. A ruler who never dies could theoretically rule forever. But did any of these elaborate expeditions actually work? Did they find this magical elixir?
Sadly, no. Despite countless attempts, the elixir remained out of reach.
What a bummer. But hold on. Didn't he also send a massive expedition to find some mystical islands where immortals supposedly lived?
You're thinking of the expedition to the Three Divine Mountains, also known as Penglai, Yingzhou, and Fengshan. These legendary islands were believed to be inhabited by immortals who possessed the secret to eternal life.
Now that sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But these islands and the stories surrounding them were deeply rooted in Chinese mythology. They represented a paradise beyond the reach of mortals, a realm where time stood still and immortality was attainable.
So Qin Shi Huang sent a whole fleet of ships, loaded with treasures and supplies, on a mission to find these mythical islands.
Exactly. He even sent skilled artisans and craftsmen, along with thousands of young men and women, to populate these islands if they were ever found. He was determined to establish a foothold in this realm of immortality.
Wow, he really went all in on that one. But was there any more success than his alchemists back home?
Unfortunately, no. The expedition returned empty-handed, the islands remained elusive, and the secret to immortality continued to slip through his grasp.
I can only imagine how incredibly disappointing that must have been. In a way, it makes him a bit of a tragic figure, don't you think?
I could see that. Here was a man who achieved incredible power, unifying China for the first time in history. But even with all his wealth and might, he couldn't conquer the one thing that truly terrified him: death.
It's a powerful reminder that even the most powerful individuals are still human. They face the same fears and anxieties that we all do.
That's a great point, and it's this very human side of Qin Shi Huang that makes his story so compelling.
I completely agree. And as we'll see in the next part of our deep dive, this quest for immortality had a huge impact, not just on Qin Shi Huang himself, but on the entire course of Chinese history. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We've been on quite a journey with Qin Shi Huang, from his strategic power plays to his deep dive into the world of alchemy and the pursuit of immortality. But as we all know, no one truly escapes death. Not even emperors.
Well, not even emperors.
So what happened? Was it a dramatic assassination? Did one of those immortality elixirs backfire?
Ooh, good question.
Maybe those mythical immortals finally got tired of him searching for their secrets.
Well, it wasn't quite as exciting as all that. Qin Shi Huang died during one of his travels, most likely from natural causes, although historians still debate the exact cause.
So even with all his efforts to cheat death, he couldn't escape the inevitable. Makes you think, doesn't it? But here's what I don't get. Didn't empires have, like, succession plans and all that to keep things running smoothly?
They did. But in this case, things took a rather messy turn. When Qin Shi Huang died, the news was kept secret for some time, probably to prevent any unrest or instability.
Ah, a classic cover-up. To maintain order. Makes sense. But secrets always have a way of coming out, don't they?
They certainly do. And when the truth was revealed, it triggered a power struggle within the court.
Ooh, palace intrigue. This is getting good. Who were the main players in this power struggle?
The primary contenders were two of Qin Shi Huang's sons, Fusu, the eldest and heir apparent, and Hu Hai, a younger son with ambitions of his own.
Classic sibling rivalry, but with an entire empire at stake.
Exactly. And to make matters even more complicated, a cunning eunuch named Zhao Gao saw this as a perfect opportunity to manipulate the situation to his advantage.
A scheming eunuch. This just got even better. What did he do?
Zhao Gao forged a decree from the deceased emperor, ordering Fusu to commit suicide.
Whoa, that's cold. Did Fusu fall for it?
Tragically, yes. Fusu, believing the decree to be genuine, took his own life. This cleared the path for Hu Hai to ascend the throne, with Zhao Gao essentially controlling him from behind the scenes.
So the scheming eunuch got what he wanted. But what happened to the empire under Hu Hai?
Unfortunately, his reign wasn't exactly a time of peace and prosperity, heavily influenced by Zhao Gao. Hu Hai proved to be a weak and ineffective ruler. His policies were harsh and unpopular, which led to widespread resentment and eventually rebellion.
It's incredible how Qin Shi Huang's quest for immortality and the chaos that followed his death ultimately brought about the downfall of the very dynasty he built.
It really is a remarkable twist of fate, and it reminds us that even the most powerful empires are built on fragile foundations.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've uncovered the ambition, the vision, and the ultimate downfall of Qin Shi Huang, from his grand inscription at Langya to his tireless pursuit of eternal life. His story is both fascinating and a cautionary tale.
His story highlights how power, wealth, and even the desire for immortality are fleeting. What truly endures are the stories we tell, the legacies we leave behind, and the lessons we learn from those who came before us.
You've given me a lot to think about. Qin Shi Huang was determined to unify China, creating a vast and powerful empire. But I'm left wondering, was this unity achieved solely through force and control? Or was there something more? Something that resonated with the people, that inspired them to accept his rule? That's a question worth pondering as we continue to explore history and the enduring legacy of Qin Shi Huang.